You summarize a game that is everything, because Dungeons & Dragons 7.6 edition is, by all accounts, literally everything in a single bowl, all mixed together to form the soup of yesteryear of TG. DTD is a game that takes place in Sigil, where reality has collapsed in upon itself, resulting in everything happening all at once, leading to the Imperium of Man working alongside the Dragonborn, Moradin-worshipping squats armed with laser guns fight off Nurgle-infested tieflings, all while Tau mercenaries fight for everything in between. This is a mashup of the century and everything you can think of happening all together. But what is the system holding this all together? Judging by its cover and origins, you would actually expect this to be another Dark Heresy hack, but DTD borrows more heavily from Legend of the Five Rings, with a D10 roll and keep system. Often rolls will be something more akin to intelligence plus your Medicae, keeping only your intelligence attribute and adding them all together. Oh, well, those attributes are actually primarily taken from World of Darkness, while the skills are almost taken one-to-one from FFG's 40K games. When I said everything was matched together, I wasn't just talking about the setting, but we need to get into the meat and potatoes, our race, exaltation, and class. Races provide some basic bonus to our starting character, as well as our first powers and feats, as well as our size. In total, there are 12 races to choose from, even more in the expansions and fan content. Now, these range from Azamir to Tau, and each have their own valid way of playing, and each one can be used for everything going forward. Exaltations, on the other hand, because of course there are exaltations, but not quite what you're thinking of, act as kind of an overall power set for your character. In total, there are 7 main exaltations, each of these tied to gaining a massive power bonus of some kind, alongside possessing a power stat and a resource stat. For example, werewolves have their feral heart with the resource of rage. As they grow in power, they'll actually get more abilities, such as fast healing, spirit sight, all the way to being able to spirit walk, while on the other hand, Atlanteans have a completely different set of powers tied to their gnosis, as well as the motes as a resource, being able to manipulate magic and all of their other powers in a variety of different ways. Any race can be any exaltation, meaning that a tiefling can become a paragon of their people just as much as an orc can become a demon host, though this does lead to some of the expansion races, such as a Thri-Kreen becoming a werewolf. Ugh. But classes are actually special, because these are actually more based off Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 2nd edition, which a class is more about a set of options to spend XP on rather than a strict Fightman, Wizardman, Rogueman split. While there are a total of 50 classes, you'll be actually restricted only to level 1 classes to begin with, such as the Humble Ratcatcher. Each class has a series of attributes, skills, and feats they are able to purchase with your XP that you manage to amass. If you manage to get all of the essential feats in a class, you can actually level out of it, completing it for a bonus. However, when you do that, you'll actually be unable to get any of the other optional feats or attributes or skills if they're not in your future class, but you can also just free study to pick up anything else you want, just at a higher cost. This may seem a little overwhelming, but we haven't quite gotten to magic, which operates kind of like how Dark Heresy does it, sword schools and gun kata, which are like special feats that give you bigger power sets and can customize special attacks, and then there's the entire alignment system, which is all about praising Vectron, the greatest god, or God help us all if you actually use the hero points the way they're written, and oh god, the combat system, which combines everything of this all into one, and social combat no less. Oh, but that's kind of what Dungeons & Dragons 40,000 7.6 edition is all about, throwing everything into a pot and mixing it all together. It may seem like this is a horrid mess, but here's a little secret. It works. It's a bulky for sure, but everything presented in this game is actually fully playable and functional. My only major critique is actually just the class system, as it feels a bit restricted for what it's saying it should be. DTD's major issue, one that haunts it more than anything, is actually its presentation. When you first read the title of this video, you probably snickered a bit and thought this was going to be some kind of meme game. And partially it is, but it's a perfectly functional game underneath everything, with a kind of this memey premise. It does fall for some of the issues of its inspirations, however, notably that you should never mix any of the exalts at all, at first anyway, as they all function very differently from one another, and keeping everything in order is juggling knives on a unicycle in Birmingham. But if you are able to do it, DTD is a game like any other. together, as it mixes all the best parts of every game all at once in the same pot at once. My name is Notepad, and this was Dungeons & Dragons 40K 7.6 edition. If you like what I do here, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. As a many thanks to the Clerics of Vectron for supporting this endeavor. Praise of Vectron!